So I'm going to share with you a little bit about our consciousness hacking, how we started, why we wanted to start this, before we kind of let our speaker, Dr. Gino Yu, to blow us away with his knowledge and wisdom. So I'll start with a personal story. Most of you might have recognized what this is. So my journey in spirituality started about 2 years ago through the likes of Tony Robbins, Burning Man, and a bunch of things I'd rather not mention in Singapore. And as I went deeper into this vision quest, I love everything around, chakra, vibration, and the third eye. But as a technologist, I just found that there's a part of me that wanted more. I really love the innovation, the impact, the scale that technology is able to create. But I felt like it's always such a completely contrasting world. There's always this bifurcation between technology and humanity. When I go to the consciousness side, people always think that tech is the cause of the disconnection and separation in humanity. And while I go to the tech side, people always find all these things that we're doing, spirituality, meditation, they're all just woo-woo stuff. So there's always this kind of separation between consciousness and technology. So Janice Shin and I got together through a flourishing project in Audacity, where we look at how can technology be the conduit for city-scale human flourishing. And as we dove deeper into this world, we discovered consciousness hacking. And we found that, hey, actually, it's not just me who is feeling this kind of itch to kind of want to find the intersection between people who are conscious, but are also doers, are thinking to change the world at the scale and impact that we all kind of desired. So consciousness hacking is a global community with 50 chapters across the globe. And the whole community envision a future where modern technology is designed to enhance rather than hinder the experience of being a human, a world where technology is programmed to heal emotional, psychological, spiritual challenges rather than exacerbate them. And we're a nonprofit. We're doing this just for the sake of bringing the community together, and all in the service of uplifting consciousness in the modern age. And I got to be honest, when we started CoHack, at least for myself, my reason, it was all personal motive. Just wanted to find my people, someone that I can geek out with all this altered states, someone who can understand what it means to appreciate different strokes of the tree and appreciation of the nature. But as I dove deeper into this field, I found that it is beyond my own need, beyond just my own desire. There is a pressing need for this discussion and movement at this moment. The world is very shaky as we know it, and there's a couple of threats that we're facing right now. And the first one is just our environment, the planet that we're living in. This is the planetary boundary. And the researcher who developed this mentioned that if we cross any of these 9 planetary boundaries, we're in a great risk of societal and species extinction. And climate change is only one of them. And we saw that we have crossed 2 out of these 9 boundaries. And we're also, inequality is on the rise. This looks at how there's such a contrast across the history, between concentration of wealth within certain group of people with the popular well-being of the whole society. And when there's such a big gap, there's a big threat to our societal failure. And the world is also getting more and more complicated.
Can you turn off the audio
there
and
is
sound?
Mass narcissism with all the rise of people trying to get all these likes. People are trying to get instant gratification. We're in this attention economy where everything is programmed so that we got addicted to our device, to the content, to getting more likes. There's also the rise of information overload, bots, deepfakes. We don't know what to trust anymore. Nations are getting more polarized. And all of this is happening while there's so much power now that we have as humans. This is all growing in such an exponential pace, while our ability to make sense of the world, our wisdom, our connection, our sense of community is all downgrading. It's not, or at least it's linear, and it's not growing at the same pace as the power that we all have in our own hands now. So imagine with 3D printer, with AI, we're democratizing access to all this powerful technology, but with not having the right wisdom, the threat for our collapse become humongous. And as a bright inventor and futurist once said, The root cause of all this is a really complex problems that not everyone can just, there's just so many different areas to look at this on how to solve this complex problem. But the root cause of all this is the consciousness of the people who created the system, who innovated, who created all these products. At the end, the product, the innovation is all just extension and or the reflection of the consciousness of the creators. So if we're not getting everyone to be at the same level of the type of connection, the sense of belonging, the love that we all experience, the world is not going to heal. Only if all the powerful leaders can experience, can taste that type of connection, the sense of belonging, the sense of wonder and magnificence of the universe, of the people that they love, with that kind of piece of paper that they could taste in their mouth. But we know that that's not legally possible. And that's why we're so excited with the potential of technology, because technology is a way, it's a tool. It's not, I heard a lot of people saying that technology is the issue to all these problems. Yes, but I think the poison can also be the solution to all these problems that we're seeing today, because tech is the tool that is able to enhance wisdom, that is personalized, accessible, at speed and scale. So not everyone can go to the Amazon to experience ayahuasca. Not everyone can spend like 10 days to do a silent meditation. Not everyone can go to Burning Man to experience that type of transformation. But tech will allow everyone to access this at speed and scale at their own time. Most of the audience here have experienced psychedelics and how powerful their transformation is. But it's sometimes always very heavy. There's just so much that went on in the person's experience. So imagine if you have an AI that can personalize that experience for them based on their childhood, based on their trauma, to make sure that they all grow at their own pace without causing that much trouble and damage in their journey. So that's just one example, but there's just so many innovations going on in this field. So just to give you some quick examples really quickly, there's Muse, which you notice the three of us wore in our profile photos. It's a brain sensing headband that gives you live feedback of how your meditation is doing. So meditation sometimes is very hard to access. People don't have patience, but by seeing feedback, perhaps they could develop that kind of mental resilience and the patience to practice to get to that state of inner peace. On the second photo here, you see a device that sends ultrasound to the brain, exposing the magic spot in our brain with sound waves to reduce self-rumination. This guy his name is Shenzhen. He's one of the most incredible meditation teachers alive today. And he reported this feeling of state of deep peace, fundamental well-being after only just a few stimulations. And on the right-hand side here, you could see a VR for the barrier reef. As much as people have heard about how the reef is dying, people don't really take any action to do any recycling or preservation because how we process things intellectually and how we embody the knowledge is just completely two different things. But imagine if you get people to actually feel the damage that they're creating, that they're leaving in the world. And based on the research, they found that 6 months in, the amount of recycling, the amount of healing for the nature, especially for the reef, was increasing right after just like one exposure in this type of experience. So the potential is just incredible. So you got you got a haptic vibration feedback here as well, which can kind of calm your flight and fight response to get you into a calm state as on demand. And you could see this is me and Jan experiencing a psychedelic trip without very legally using VR. So imagine people getting to experience this at their home. And lastly, this is a group flow technology. So most of the things that we see are kind of individual experience, but there's also a growing types of effort in connecting people together through neurofeedback, biofeedback. So what's happening here is people have to synchronize their heartbeat, and they can see their synchronicity through the feedback of light, sound, and visual. I heard that people who went to experience this experience a deep sense of connection and harmony beyond just themselves. The sense of connection to people around them increased exponentially. People cried after this session, looking at the visual of their heartbeat and how it's synchronizing with other people. So imagine this type of group flow that we can experience at a society level, experiencing collective harmony and collective intelligence at scale. So you could feel free to look at most of this content on Consciousness Hacking's YouTube channel. There's a lot of stuff and a really fascinating content in there. I just want to close by sharing with you what to expect in this community. We're planning to do this monthly, engaging very fascinating speakers in this field to share their wisdom with you guys. We also have an ongoing Slack engagement, so make sure you sign up with us as a member and communicate with us on Slack. Type of content that we bring, they'll mainly focusing on technology, but we still welcome a lot of spiritual, conscious, traditional practices that kind of elevate and kind of bring peace and awareness to us. So we got like Celeste here who will allow us to experience sound meditation today. And lastly, we want this to be a very participatory community. So we want to hear from you guys, anything that you want to contribute, you want to just share, feel free to let us know. We want to let you kind of to engage the community and make it your own. And essentially want to turn this into a place where we can cultivate knowledge around consciousness hacking, scaling the state of inner peace and love, and I want to foster connection and collaboration.